Hey, welcome back. We are live and we are in the studio. And I'm excited about today because we are starting the year off with two of my favorite book reviews. And if you have anything to do with growing your business, you want to pay attention to this. This is a very, very important. Okay, very important. This is our Dig Deeper Wednesday. What does that mean? That means every Wednesday we dig deeper into something. It could be you personally, it could be your life, it could be a deal, it could be a situation, or it could be an expert, or it can be a book review. So we are going to be digging into one of my favorite books. If you guys notice, I like these little short, simple reads that get you through it quick, but it has a huge impact on what it is you're going to do. So come on board, join me. Say hello. Hey, this is your REI Success Academy family. I am Zack Childress. I am your real estate coach and real estate investor, and I am here to help you guys get further in your business. That's what we do these shows. So we do them every Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone. That's our real estate investing talk show. And we do them every Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone. And it is our Dig Deeper show on Wednesdays. So come on board. Talk to me. Say hello. Let me know you're with me. Let me know what you got going on. Let me know. Michelle says hello. Hello. What's this say? Linda says hi, Zach. Mr. Todd. Let's see here. I got all kinds of things coming across right now. Michael from Missouri says hello. Good to have you, Michael. D says good morning. Good morning, D. Man, my screen's blowing up over here. Hey, listen, come on to the show. Let's dig deeper today. I've got some good information to share with you today. I got all kinds of stuff. Hey, I hope you guys are keeping warm, especially if you're in this winter or snow that's closing down everything. It's closing down everything. We got a ½ inch of snow and they shut down everything here. So I encourage you to have some fun with the snow. So Talon says, hey, Zach and family. Hello. Bishop. Miss Bishop says, hey, Zach. Good to have you on here. Hey, listen, if it's your first time, tell me hello. Say hi to me. My name is Zack Childress. I am your real estate coach because I am a real estate investor out there making it happen every day. Say hello. Stephanie says hello, everyone. Awesome. Hey, join us. Remember, share this stream. It's important. Today's message is highly important. Why is that? There's a great author that I love to read. I love to, engage in all of his stuff, and it's Dr. Henry Cloud. He's the guy who's behind all the book series, Boundaries. But he wrote a really easy read book. I'm going to share it with you today. It's called 9 Things a Leader Must Do. 9 Things a Leader Must Do. Okay. This book right here, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me get some of the glare off of it. 9 Things a Leader Must Do. This book, my friends, is very, very powerful. Okay. Rudy says, hello, Zach. Go deeper today. Share the info. That's right, Rudy. Tell them, man, share this info. Gracie says, hey, Zach. Hey, Gracie. I just can't tell you how powerful some of these little books are. Like last week, we went into Who Moved My Cheese. If you watch that, that's a powerful little story. And this one is too, because it's breaking through to the next level, which is what this book is all about. Digging deeper into what we do, how we do it, and how we're going to become great leaders in our life, in our business, and so forth. I'm so pumped to do this. I just ordered your book. Way to go, Michael. just got the book. Hey, for those of you that are wondering what he's talking about, this is the book. It's also behind me right here. Right here. It's called My First Deal Playbook. Where can you get that at? Well, you can get that at Amazon. Again, you can get it on Amazon. Hey, if you've gotten the book, leave us a comment. Leave a review about the book. I'd like to see that review on... I'd like to see it on Amazon and also in the feed here. So that would be great. That would be great. So come on board. Come on board. Come on board. Hey, listen, so I want you guys to be ready for today because I'm going to talk about some things that some of you may not want to talk about. And the reason I say that is because sometimes for us to make this year a great year, we've got to do two things. One of those things is listen what I talked about in the book review last week about Who Moved My Cheese and being in a position to really move forward and to be aware that change is inevitable and to be able to move with change and be part of change, okay? Today is going to be about things that you need to be putting yourself in and the enlightenment of where you need to be as a leader and removing people from your life, okay? DC said, hit the share button, people. Way to go, DC. Tony says, hey, Zach. Grizel says, hey, Angel here. Angel, way to go. So let's do this. Look, I've taken this book and I've broken it down into some simple things that I want to talk to you about, okay? The 9 things are pretty powerful. I'm just going to give you an overview of the 9 things, and then we're going to dig into some of them that I think you need to pay attention to. So, but there again, for those of you that are just joining us, my name is Zack Childress. I am your real estate coach, and I'm a real estate investor. You join us here. If you're new, let me know you're new. Let me know how we can help you. If you've got any real estate questions, type them into the question box there. I'll be happy to answer them while we're going through this book review, okay? Remember, Wednesdays is our Dig Deeper show. Tuesdays at 1:30 is our real estate investing talk show. That's where we really dig more into investing stuff. But today is about getting you in the right mindset, okay? Getting you where it needs to be. So, all right. So what are the 9 things, right? The 9 things are, and he uses phrases in here that are kind of funny. But number 1 is excavate your soul. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. Number 2 is yank the diseased tooth. Number 3 is play the whole movie, right? You got to play it out. You can't just start the movie and then stop it, right? You got to play the whole thing out. Put Superman out of a job. I love that. So, number 5 is embrace your inner instinct, right? This goes back to the book we read last week about scurry and sniff. So, number 6 is earn a black belt in hate. Number 7 is forget about playing fair. Number 8 is quit self-excavating. Number 9 is ignore the popularity polls. All right. So let me help you, and I'm going to break each one of these down for you. Okay. So let's talk about number 1, excavating the soul. Now, to give you an insight on Dr. Henry Cloud, he's a business expert. He's a business advisor. He's also a minister, so he speaks from a biblical point of view. But he went out and basically interviewed, as you could say, all these successful business owners. And he calls it the Deja Vu Effect. And here's why. Because as he was talking to all these leaders in business and these successful business owners, he felt like he was having deja vu. And so for those of you that don't know what deja vu is when you're living in a moment that you felt like you've been in before, right? And the reason he was feeling that way is because he was noticing that there was parallel answers amongst all these business owners that led to their success. And so he felt like he was in deja vu, but it was because he was hearing some of the same responses to his questions about how they became successful. So, excavating the soul. Thing 1, deja vu leaders explore their deep hearts and invest in their inner desire and drives. That, my friend, is a big component, is when we become great leaders, as he refers to a deja vu leaders, we have a very clear understanding of who we are at the core. And what am I doing to be better at driving in an essence? So know that. Here's something he says: dig up your heart's desire. Everything we see around us in the visible world began in the invisible world of someone's soul. Because listen, we have to be able to manifest what we want before it will ever happen. And the only way to do that is to live in the invisible world at first, to be able to see it, to be able to play it out, to be able to embrace it, so that therefore we can start to live it, right? It came into being because of discipline and desire, all invisible ingredients which live in the soul of men and women. For successful leaders, the invisible world is where the visible world originates. You see, you can't just go out and say, hey, I want a successful business and think you're going to have it. You got to see it. You got to believe it. You got to be part of it. You got to live in that moment before it ever is reality, okay? Every blockbuster deal, every new rung on the corporate ladder, every project design, every company merger, every successful sales campaign begins in the invisible soul of human beings. Leadership success is the process of digging up the treasures of the invisible soul in order to bring dreams, desires, and talent into the visible world. First thing deja vu leaders do to succeed is to listen to their hearts and invest in their inner desire and drives. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you've got to start to visualize what you want. You've got to start to manifest in your mind the things that you want, the business, the success, the people around you, the companionship, the fellowship, the faith, the fitness, the family, the freedom, all of those things. You have to start to visualize it and want it internally, so that therefore you can live it out in reality. So in order to optimize his opportunities in business and life, a deja vu leader, which is what he calls them, has to become aware of his dreams, desires, talents, and other treasures of the soul, which means you have to start to really look inside of you to determine, what are the things that I know I'm talented at? What are the things that I'm good at? What is it that I desire? What drives me? When you can start to really embrace that, then you can start to live forward fast. Listen to them and value them as life itself. Take steps to develop them, seek coaching and help to make them grow. That is like point blank right there, right? Seek coaching and help to make them grow. And the reason he states that is because we will never grow past what we know. We won't. And growth is not always by how many books do I have on the bookcase, because I can read that and I can internalize that and I can consume that information. But to grow, I've got to be able to implement that, which means I need somebody to push me, which is where consulting and mentoring and coaching come from. So you got to really dig into that, okay? That's excavating the soul, all right? All right. Here's another one inside of this chapter. It says, put on your hard hat and take the appropriate risk. Is there a risk in business? Of course there is. Can we manage that risk? Yes. But here's why we see it as risk. Because we personally have not lived the reward that comes from the risk that we assume we're taking, okay? So therefore, it is risky if we don't know the other side. But when you are with someone like a coach that's helping you, that's been where you are, that knows where you've got to go, risk starts to eliminate, okay? It starts to get mitigated, because it's like, look, keep focus on this, and this is where you're going to go. He says, there is very little growth and reward in life without taking risk. I'm sure you guys have heard that. As the parable says, the one who buried his treasure in the ground did so to avoid risk or loss, failure and disapproval. In the end, though, he reaped all three of these disasters clearly. Avoidance of risk is the greatest risk of all. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but to folly of fools is deception. That's out of Proverbs 14:8. And he, like I said, he talks a lot from the biblical point of view, and he helps relate why, it's a good thing to be successful, and the Bible preaches that. So you need to understand that. Risk is needed. You have to risk. If you put all your money into a treasure box and bury it, it does you no good. Okay? You have to invest in yourself. And what have I been saying? My message so far this year has been what? This is the year to invest in you. This is the year to invest in you. This is the year to excavate your soul, right? To invest in you, to invest in your desires, to invest in your drive. This is the year to do that, okay? All right, what do we got over here? Cynthia says, hey, Zach. Rudy says, hey, Connie. Loder says, hola. Ariana says, hello. Hello from California. Corey says, hello from California. DC says, who's coming? We've got the event coming up. You guys need to know about that, right? We got the event coming up. What's the event about? Well, let's talk about that real quick, right? Because the event is February 9th through the 11th. It's in Los Angeles, California. You need to be there. You need to come. I'm literally teaching all 3 days with my business partners, and I am pulling back the curtains. I'm sharing everything that's working. It's a working progress. We are literally bringing out the original shark, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, to share how he built a $450 million net worth business and how you guys can do it too. He wrote a book called Put a Shark in Your Tank, which is what we did. It's a bestseller. And a book called Act Now, and why it's so important in your life that you start to take action immediately. Where are you going to learn this at? Los Angeles, California, February 9th through the 11th. You need to come to this event. You need to start this year off right. This is a do deal type of event, and I need you there. So we have general admission tickets, a few left. I think we've got a couple of silver tickets left. I'm not sure if we have any gold tickets left, but you need to call the office. 707-247-4248. 707-247-4248. Pick up the phone, call the office, talk to somebody there to see what is going to be the right fit for you to be at the event, especially if you live in California. So it should be a no-brainer. All right, number two. Number two is all about yank the diseased tooth. I really love this chapter. And I'm glad he put it in number two, because number one was really about us understanding we've got to invest in ourselves, right? We will never grow if we don't invest in ourselves. Number two is about, even if we invest in ourselves, there's going to be people around us that are going to try to talk us out of investing in ourselves. There's going to be people around us that try to discourage us from moving forward in our life and building a business and becoming successful. And sometimes you get a profitable company by giving most of it away at a big loss, and then expect it to explode with growth. He said, my friend went on to say, I saw that the life of the company was really in about 20% of the overall activity. Think about that. So this is a guy that has come onto a company and has evaluated the business model, and he has seen that, hey, look, 80% of the revenue is coming from 20% of the company's productivity. So 80% of what the people are working on is only producing 20% of the revenue. So what do? You get rid of the 80% of what they're working on, and you focus on the 20% that's producing 80% of the revenue. He goes on to say, I wanted to keep the flawless, I can't even say the word, stuff, from draining focus, energy, resources, and attention away from the good things we had going. And that's what led to our eventual success. And that's a true statement. So when you've got a lot of things going on in your business, and you've got people doing things in your business that is distracting them from performing in one task that's successful. One of the things that we've done this year in this company is we've compartmentalized a lot of things where, we had a lot of people doing a lot of the same stuff, and, it was a waste of energy. And so, we've basically narrowed people's titles down to specific core functions of this company. Why? Because now they can be focused very clearly on that task and not being distracted by going from this task to that task to this task. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to communication. If you can't communicate, you'll never have a successful business, right? You just won't. People are going to run around bouncing off walls trying to figure out what's going on. So communication is key to relationships, to business, to partnerships. Anything that you have around you, communication is key. And that is even communicating with staff leaders to determine what is working, what's not working. So you as becoming a leader, if you want to be a leader in your world, in your life, in your business, you have to understand you've got to communicate, okay? Leaders do not allow negative things. They yank it out. They get rid of the negative energy. And what does he mean by yank the diseased tooth? Because here's why. If you've got a tooth that's rotting in your mouth and you don't get it out, what is it going to do to the other teeth? It's going to rot them. So you've got to look at your environment. Who are you associating with? Who are you fellowshipping with? Who are you hanging out with? And are they negative? Are they being negative towards your growth, your success, your investment in you, right? Are they holding you back? Is what you have to think about. And if they are, you got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of them. So he goes on to say, examples of negative energy in a leader's life can be physical, such as the junk that piles up on your desk or in your computer files, right? Look how clean my desk is. Look how clean my desk is, right? Right? Somebody once told me a long time ago that Sigmund Freud, when he's doing his evaluations and figuring out peoples and talents, that he had said that a sign of genius is somebody that has a plethora of mess in their office. And I used to be that guy. When I had a girl that worked here, she had a master's in psychology, and she shared that with me, and boy, I took it, right? I was like, well, look, there you go. I'm a genius because my desk was always messy. So, but also he states here that relational, such as people who are a bad influence on you, right? You understand, like, we control who we allow in. We control those that influence us by letting them into our world. And emotional, such as unnecessary anxiety or worry. Where does the biggest emotional anxiety comes from? Is when we are trying to play something out in our mind that we have no understanding of where it's going to go. We're just thinking about it too much. We're thinking about, how is this going to work out? How is this going to play out? So that creates anxiety because we don't really have an answer. So we dwell on it. And so you can't do that. Relationships that are not going anywhere, you've got to get rid of. Activities at work or home that are not getting you where you want to go, you need to change those. Things you own or are paying for that you are not using. Listen, I understand if you're already making a ton of money and you've got toys that you're not using a lot, like boats, you use seasonal. But when you're first starting out, you've got to really take a long, hard look at your financial life. You've got to really contemplate, what are the things that I don't need? And what do I need to get rid of? What do I need to sell? Because then when you rebuild, you can go buy new ones, right? But if you don't need it, get rid of it, okay? Time you're spending that is not contributing to your well-being or mission as a leader, right? Focusing on income-producing activities. Either fill the cavity or pull the tooth. There's only two ways to get rid of it, right? So think about that. He says here, new things that actually have hope for the future cannot appear until you get rid of what was taking up the space that the new thing needs. Woo, let's talk about that, right? That goes back to not having the ability to let go. You understand that what he's saying there is that you can't bring new ideas, new opportunities, new concepts into your life when you have not made room for it, when you have not cleaned out the clutter and let go of things that you don't need anymore and gotten rid of relationships that are going nowhere. Until you do that, you can't allow new opportunities to come in because there's no space for it. And listen, a lot of times we have a hard time with that as individuals, emotional people, right? Because we dwell on the past too much. We think about it too much. We bring it up in conversation all the time. We talk about how somebody hurt us and that was 3 years ago. Well, yeah, they hurt you 3 years ago doesn't mean that it's who you are today. Let go of that nonsense. Let go of that old energy. We talk about how, oh, well, I was in a partnership and move forward at all costs. Forgive your past, but remember it and move forward at all costs. It's essential for your growth. You have to forgive where you came from. You have to forgive the people that, did you wrong. You have to forgive your past. You have to forgive bad relationships and bad partnerships. You have to forgive these things. You have to. If you can't forgive, you will dwell on it forever. And I mean truly forgive and let go. I'm not saying forget about it. I'm saying forgive it and let go of it so that you can have space now for new opportunities. So listen, you guys are awful quiet on here today. If you're hearing my message, say something to me. Like write a comment. Tell me I'm with you, Zach. Tell me I hear you. Tell me something so I know you're listening to me. Right? You're hearing what I'm trying to say to you. Your communication is a must in what I'm doing here today. So, because this statement is just so powerful, right? New things that actually have hope for your future, cannot appear until you get rid of what was taking up the space that new things need. You've got to let go. You've got to be in a position where you say, I'm good. I'm good with it. I don't need that in my life anymore. I forgive it. I'm over it. I'm moving forward at all cost. Okay? You got to really, really, really think about that. And you got to really understand that. That if you don't say, I'm done with it, it will linger with you forever. It will linger with you forever. So that it will do. It will linger with you forever, okay? All right, let's see what we got here. All right. You guys are with me. I like it. So, all right, let's move on in here, though. Let's see if we get any more statements in here. Play the whole movie. Love this part. So, 3 things. Leaders evaluate their decision in the present based on how they will affect the future. They're evaluating the decision they're making right now based on the present moment and how it's affecting their life for the better in the future, right? That's the unemotional aspect of it, right? So if you're a leader in your family, you're a leader at your church, you're a leader in your community, you're a leader at home, you're a leader in your business, you're evaluating every decision you make on how it's going to make the movement forward better, okay? How it's going to make the movement forward better, okay? That's what you have to be thinking about. Not emotionally, but how is this decision going to help me grow? And that's something that you really got to think about, because sometimes those decisions are hard because it leaves some people behind, right? You have to let go of some people to make the right decision for your success in the future, right? You got to let them go. You got to keep moving forward. I've had to let people go that had been with me for a long time because they were not moving forward with me, or you could tell that their intent was not to stay with me, right? And so you need people around you that are always going to be committed to the journey. So play the movie full. Leaders evaluate their decision in the present based on how those decisions will affect their future. Play the whole movie. Don't just look at the movie's title or what it's, oh, this is a decision I should make right now, but what's that decision going to do for me in the future, right? You need to really think about that. Number 4, put Superman out of a job. I love this. Ignacio says, I hear you, Zach. Grizel says, with you, Zach. Very good and so true. Awesome. Put Superman out of a job, he says. Thing 4, leaders continually ask themselves, what can I do to make this situation better? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one right there. I talk about this all the time. This is life-changing right here, guys. If you focus on this, man, you're going to change your life, okay? Just listen to this. What can I do to make this situation better? Instead of saying, well, what can someone else do to make my situation better? What can someone else do to give me to make me better? What can someone else do for me? What can someone do for me, do for me, do for me? That's why you're never going to be a leader, right? Leaders don't always have their hand out. They're not always asking for someone to do for them. They're literally saying, what can I do to make this situation better? I do that on an ongoing basis. I look at all the situations in my life with my kids' mom, with my family, with my students, with my staff, with my partners. I always say, what could I do to make the situation better? Meaning, what can I give to make it better? Right? What can I produce? How can I communicate better? How can I be more involved? How can I make sure that they know I'm here? How do I make this situation de-escalate and make sure that I'm there to communicate effectively with everyone around me? And let me tell you something. Everybody wants a big business. Well, big businesses come with staff, right? And once you get staff in, you got all kinds of personalities and all kinds of drama that gets created, right? And you've got to constantly be saying this to yourself. What can I do to make the situation better? What can I contribute? What can I do, right? What can I do? Not what can they do, but what can I do to make sure that I can help the situation? And a lot of times, that's communication. Most operations have staff that run around confused because of lack of communication. They're just like chickens trying to figure out where the next feed's at. You have to communicate with yourself, and you have to communicate with your vision, and you have to communicate with the people around you. And that number one thing is yourself. Communicate with yourself. What can I do to make the situation better? Okay. He says they tend to call on themselves the first source to correct difficult situations, right? It doesn't matter whether they think they are to blame or not. Even if someone else is at fault, they take initiative to address the problem and seek a solution. Whatever the answer may be, leaders make a move. They don't sit around contemplating. They make a decision and they move forward, okay? Let's see here. Pam says, some people have issues with not only facing the fact that rotten teeth exist, but they have abandonment issues, so letting go is hard. Ooh, Pam. Pow! Pow, Pam! That was a good one. We have to get in the driver's seat, Pam says. That's really good, Pam, because you nailed that one. It is abandonment issues. You know what else it is? It's that feeling of being alone. Like, people have this feeling that even if the person is negative, they don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone, so they put up with it. Like bad relationships. I know people who are in horrible relationships, abusive relationships, abusive. But they don't let go because why? Because they don't want to be alone. Being alone is the hardest thing in the world, because then what? You have to evaluate yourself. Listen, I did it. I was in a long-term marriage, right? I don't want to get into my marriage here, but long, 2 decades, right? And I had to leave that one. And let me tell you something. It was hard. Especially the first year and a half was real hard because you're alone. You're alone. I'm coming home to a house alone, right? Now I had my kids, not every day, but It was alone. But let me tell you something. That is when you're making the ultimate sacrifice to make you better. You're making the ultimate sacrifice to say, I'm willing to face the biggest fear that most people have in this world, which is being alone, to better me, to put me in a better position to go forward. And let me tell you something. It has been one of the best things that ever happened to me. I mean, I don't mean that in a negative way, because I love my kids' mom. I mean, she's their mother, right? I mean, these are my kids. It's their mother. She's the queen to them, right? We just didn't work out. And I respect her tremendously for being that mother. But when I removed that toxic relationship came to an end, my life has excelled. My business has excelled. My relationship with my children have excelled. I've excelled. It's amazing that sometimes the hardest decision we have to make that we don't want to make because of all the anticipations of what may happen eat us up with anxiety, so we just don't do it because of the fear of all the unknowns. But when we face that fear and when we go do what is the hardest thing there is to do, it's pretty amazing what you can accomplish. So just hear my words on that. So here, ask, is there anything in my situation or actions that I have contributed to this problem? What can I do to change those? What can I do to change those? Ask, how can I communicate to the other person that I see the role I have played in our problem, right? So instead of pointing the finger at them or pointing the finger of blame to our society and our government and our president and all this other nonsense, start looking at yourself. Start saying, what is it that I can change? What is it that I can contribute? What is it that I can do? Go and apologize. I was having a meeting this morning about something that was said that, there's no need to drag it out. But the person that was saying it to me said, look, I'll just apologize for it, just to move this conversation forward. I thought that was great. Go and make amends. That's something that we have a hard time with, right? Making amends. Because we hold on to anger. We hold on to resentment. We hold on to regret. We hold on to what? The freaking past. We don't let go of it. We hold on to it. We hold on to that anger. We hold on to that negative energy because it wasn't done the way it was supposed to do. They did me wrong. They didn't treat me right. They shouldn't have done that. They did this. They did that. They did a problem person to get to you, right? That's a key right there. If there's someone in our environment or in our work environment or in our network that's a negative, angry person, we tend to let how they respond to things or how they react to things overwhelm us. And you can't. You got to just let them be them and you be you, okay? Get help to respond differently. Manage your expectations. Ooh, there's that word again, right? Expectation. Manage your expectation, because if you guys remember, I said what? Stop expecting from people. Stop expecting from people to do things for you. Stop expecting people to be a certain way. The only thing you can ever expect, and we talked about this last Wednesday, is change. Change is inevitable. It is always a guarantee. You can always guarantee change. So I expect change. But I don't expect people to be anyway, because what I have found, well, I'm not going to say I don't always do it, but what I have found is when I expect certain behaviors from people and they don't do that, then I get agitated, I get upset, I build anger, right? And that's allowing what? That person to control my outcome. So you got to stop doing that. Do not depend on them for things they cannot give, such as approval, validation, and love. Ooh, that's a big one, right? You cannot allow other people's life to be in that much control over you, okay? You can't be in a position where you say, I need approval from someone. I need validation from someone. I need love from someone to make me happy. Listen, this happens all the time in the work environment, right? People do a good job and they're looking for what? Approval, validation. They need somebody to say, good job. But do you know what? Your good job speaks louder than someone telling you you did a good job. But that's how we're bred. We want to be patted like a dog, right? Oh, I did a good job. Somebody tell me I did a good job. Somebody tell me I did a good job. That's the expectation. You're expecting someone else to give you validation. And when they don't give you that validation, you're what? Your bubbles popped. You're let down. You're like, well, they didn't recognize me. They didn't see all the things I did. They didn't see that. They don't appreciate me. That's the same thing in relationships, right? It's the same thing in relationships. When we don't get the approval, like if I wash dishes one night, and let's say I don't know, let's say I'm with someone, and I wash dishes, and I expect them to come in and be like, oh, good job, you washed the dishes. Thank you. But what happens if they don't say that? Then what do? All night long, I think about what? Well, they didn't tell me I did a good job for washing the dishes. That's a control thing that you can control. Cut the expectation out. Cut the validation out. Cut the reward out. Cut all that out. Cut the approval out. I don't need you to approve me for where I'm going. I don't need you to validate me for what I'm doing. If I'm going to wash the dishes, I'm washing the damn dishes because they need to be washed. I'm not washing them because I need you to tell me I did a good job. And if you're doing it for approval, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're building your business so other people can say, look how great they are. Look at the success they created. You're doing it for the wrong reason. If you're chasing money so that you can flaunt it in front of people so that they say, hey, good job, you've made it. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Do what you do best and do it great, and don't expect from anybody to tell you anything about how good or great or approval that you get from them, and you will lead as a leader by example, and people will gravitate towards you because you're doing it with the right intention. The right intention, you understand? Not approval. Has nothing to do with approval. Has nothing to do with validation. Has everything to do with you being incongruent with yourself and doing what you desire and what your drive. Chapter 1, right? Invest in your drive. Invest in your desires. Don't go wash the dishes because you want somebody to see you wash the dishes. Do the dishes because they need to be freaking done, okay? Clean the floors because they need to be clean. Go out and build a business because you need income in your life to build financial freedom for you. You understand? Go out and flip houses because you're trying to put your kids through school and you're the only one that can be held accountable for that. Not because you want somebody to pat you on the back. Woo! Getting into it right there. Woo! I need to take a breather over here. I love this book. That's why I read this book every year. This and Who Moved My Cheese and the E-Myth. Every year we go through these books, okay? Why? Because it's powerful. It's powerful, it's powerful, it's powerful. Number 5, embrace the inner insect, okay? Leaders achieve big goals by taking small steps over time. And I say this all the time to you guys. Reward yourself for the small wins, okay? Reward yourself for the small wins. The reality was that many tiny ants had taken many tiny steps in valor. A city was built. It hit me hard. This entire feat was really no more complex than one step at a time, one grain of sand at a time. This goes back to what I say all the time, guys. Do a little bit every day. 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 Be an ant. Build an empire, one grain of sand at a time. You can't, this goes back to expectation, right? You cannot go out and expect to have an empire built without taking action. And that action is doing something every day. Leaders achieve big goals by taking small steps over time. If I had examined the few significant things I had already accomplished in life, I would have seen that they were done in the fashion of the ant as well. It is true of all successful leaders. They all achieve their success by embracing their inner insect and acting like an ant. The biggest enemy of the small steps, big result principle is our craving for having it all. I want it all right now. I cannot tell you how many times I've been coaching people and they want it all right now. It doesn't work that way. I can't tell you how many times I've ran sales floors and salespeople come in and they're like, I need money right now. It doesn't work that way. You got to build the momentum. You got to build the process. You got to lay the foundation. You got to start moving one grain of sand at a time. One grain of sand at a time. One grain of sand at a time. You cannot expect to have overnight riches in anything you do. Okay? But if the ant looks, wait a minute, what does it say here? If the ant picks up a grain of sand, and the city will be built. But if the ant looks at the grain and says, this is not a city, what a waste of time. There will be no city in the end. And that happens a lot to us in life. We can't appreciate the small wins enough to realize those small wins lead to big successes. But you got to start with the small wins, and you got to recognize them. If you've never called anybody and you start calling 15 to 20 people a week, that's a small win. You understand? Like you've overcome something. So let's see here. Pam says, we cannot change people, only ourselves. That's right, Pam. Carly says, it's the T-ball syndrome. This isn't T-ball, folks. Not everyone deserves a trophy. That's so true. Not everyone deserves a trophy. So, not everyone deserves a trophy. But you have to understand a few key factors, okay? That you have to gain small wins. You have to gain small wins. You have to remove the diseased teeth from your mouth. You got to get the people away from you. You got to take ownership in your life. You've got to become a leader. And the only way to become a true leader is to be able to communicate with yourself, the people around you, and to invest in you, your desire, your drive. You've got to. You've got to. If you got any questions on this, type them in, because I'm going to be wrapping this up in the next 5 minutes. So, but you've really got to think about this year, okay? I'm really hitting you hard the first month of this year about changing your mindset, changing your drive, changing the way you think about things, changing who you are, right? This is a new year. It's a new you. It's the year that you embrace that you're great. You take small wins along the journey. Equals great successes. Evaluate you. Look at what you can contribute to the situation. Stop blaming other people. Stop pointing the finger. Stop thinking that listen, I'll give you an example. Prime example. Yesterday, how many of you were on my Facebook Live yesterday? Okay. If you're on my Facebook Live yesterday, I dropped my phone. Yes, I did. And it broke. And I had no access to a phone. But you know what I was doing? I was using Skype. I was using Messenger. I was using Google Hangouts. I was doing all of that to try to communicate and keep moving forward. I didn't say, oh, my phone's broke, I can't do anything, right? I didn't do that. I kept digging, right? I kept digging. How do I get through this? How do I get through this? So, it's because why? I evaluate me constantly. I'm always evaluating me, and I'm evaluating the people around me. Listen, I'm a talker, man. I'm a talker. Why? Because I know that I can never get to where I want to be staying silent. And that means I talk to myself. I talk to my Father in heaven. I talk to the people around me. I talk to my partners. I talk to my staff. I talk to my leaders. I talk to everyone, okay? Because I always want to grow. I'm always looking for opportunity. And the other thing, the biggest thing that a lot of you need to do is let go of last year. Let go of 2 years ago. Let go of 5 years ago. Let go of 6 years ago. You're not going that direction. You're going forward. So let go of the past, man. Clean out that closet. Clean out that spare bedroom. Make room for the new opportunities. Make room for where you're going to go and the things you've got to accumulate to get you where you want to be. Invest in your desire and drive. Invest in you. This is your year to make a huge impact on your future. But you're not going to get there alone. You're not. You might need some time alone to evaluate you, but you're not going to get there alone. You've got to put yourself in a position to move forward at all cost. I'm coming to you hard right now because I freaking love you guys for following me and being part of what we do. I love you for that. But you've got to get yourself in a position to let go of the people that hurt you in the past. Let go of the things you've bought that didn't work. Let go of the people that said they were going to help you and didn't. Let go of all that. And embrace your journey right now. Embrace where you want to go. Embrace the new opportunities. Embrace the ability to know that this is my year. I'm investing in me this year. I'm investing in my desires and my drive, and I'm investing in my education this year. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to communicate what I want, what I need, and where I'm going loud enough that everyone can hear me. That's the change you've got to make in yourself this year. And you got to make it so loud that you cannot do anything but move forward. And you've always got to keep in mind that there's going to be people around you that don't want you to succeed. They may not tell you that, but they don't. And there's going to be people that are just bad positioning. They might be a great person, and you might like them out at the bar having drinks. But when it comes to real life, they're not good for you. You got to get them away. You got to yank that diseased tooth out of your mouth, okay? Rudy said, just got 2 silver tickets. Way to go, Rudy. Way to go, Rudy. Way to go. Ignacio says, I did. Everybody says, I saw that. Rudy says, yes, you did. This is your year, guys. This is your year. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. You've got to start thinking about that. Listen, every one of you need to go to Amazon right now and buy this book. 9 Things a Leader Must Do. Super easy read. You need to dig into this book. Look, there it is on the screen. 9 Things a Leader Must Do. It's powerful, man. It's powerful. Because why? It makes you understand to be successful, you've got to be held accountable yourself. Nobody can influence you but you. The only reason someone influences you is because you allow them to. You allow your emotional state to allow that to happen. You know what's right. You know what you need to do. You need to change your life. You need to change the way you think. You need to change how you approach this business. You know you need coaching. You know you need long-term support. You know you need it. So stop being afraid of it. Embrace it. Talk to somebody in my office. Call somebody here and say, look, I hear what Zach's saying. I need to figure this out. How do I get someone to help me grow my business? How do I make that big of an impact on my life by allowing myself to do what? Be trained, be educated, right? In chapter 1, he says what? Leaders seek coaching and help to allow them to grow. That's the first thing they do. It's the first thing they do. They don't sit around and contemplate about it. They just do it, man. They just do it, right? They just do it. So the road to success is always under construction. That's right, George. Stephanie says, I'm with you, Zach. Doo-doo. Good job. I love it. 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 You guys got hit hard today. I know. I was hard on you today, but it's because I care for you. I really want you to embrace the success that you can create from this. And the only way to truly do that is what? You allow your emotional state. The only way to do that is to really move forward at all costs, okay? You have to move forward at all costs. Always be moving forward, okay? Move forward, move forward, move forward, move forward. Always move forward. And let go, man. Let go. I can't tell you enough of how important it is to let go. You have to let go. You really do. So listen, part of your homework, I'm going to give you homework. If you guys know me, you know I like to give homework. So part of your homework is get the 9 Things a Leader Must Do by Dr. Henry Cloud, and also get the book Who Moved My Cheese right here by Spencer Johnson. Okay. You guys need to get both of those books. You need to read both of those books. And you really need to embrace change this year. I mean, that's really what it's about, guys. And change sometimes is the hardest thing that we do, but it is the only thing that we have to do to make it work. So guys, that's what I got for you today. I hope you've enjoyed the class today. It's really a dig deeper. This was a true dig deeper. I dug deep with you today. Okay. So, do what you need to do, make the change, get to the event in LA. Be part of what we do. Get on the phone with us and talk about coaching. Get on the phone with us. Talk about how we can help you grow your business. There's so many different ways we can help you guys. There's so many different ways. But you will never get it if you don't ask for it. And that's the reality. You've got to ask for it. You've got to become a leader and communicate what you want. Communicate where you want to go. Communicate. The word of the day, communicate. Yesterday it was expectation. Today it's communicate. It's amazing how sometimes a simple word can dictate all we need to know about where we're going. Right? So anyways, this is Zack Childress. I love you guys. See you guys next week. Remember, be in the game. Be in you. Participate in what you want. And take action every day. That's what I've got for you. Zack Childress. See you guys next week.